I think a few months ago, I wrote an article titled Wallet Agnostic, How to Be Wallet Agnostic. And in that article near the end, which I want to end here with, is that self custody is like self defense. Right? You can buy all the fancy gadgets, buy all the fancy self defense weapons that you want to. But in the time of need, if you don't know how to use it properly, and if you don't know how to use it when the time comes, it's utterly useless. So the main point of that is to use what you're most comfortable with.
Hey everyone, wherever you are, hope you're having a wonderful week so far. We have the latest episode of the Inside Crypto Show, interviews and discussions with regular people just like yourselves. Today we're joined by Eric Choy, a senior marketing manager at Ballet. Ballet is a US company that makes easy, safe, and reliable cryptocurrency storage products. The company was founded in 2019 and is based in Las Vegas, Nevada. Before we dive into that interesting enough, this is our first hardware episode, so I'm supremely excited. Ballet has some really cool products, so the links to the store, to their company will be down in the show notes, so go and check those out because they are really beautiful. But before that, we have to talk about Eric and his background. You guys will also see it's actually daytime, so we haven't had a guest on the same time zone that I have in like forever, so that always makes me happy as well. But anyway, enough babbling. Eric, tell us about yourself.
Thanks again, Korean, for having us on the show to represent Ballet and also myself. For the audience out there, just a quick background on myself. I have been with Ballet for about 3 years now. My journey into crypto started back in 2017 when a friend recommended me to buy Bitcoin, which I did. Bought it on Coinbase. I think at the time I bought it at Bitcoin was at $5,000. This was like October 2017. A few weeks later, right, it went up to 8,000, I think, and then I sold it, right? I think, obviously looking back in retrospect, I should have held on to it. But no, ever since then, I along with any other Bitcoin Web3 person out there, have fell down the proverbial rabbit hole, right? So I've found myself digging deeper into crypto, digging deeper into Bitcoin and learning how it works, learning about the mechanisms behind the private public key generation, understanding different transaction types for Bitcoin, and then from there branching off into understanding other types of Web3 tech. Since then, besides Ballet, I've also written a few articles for Bitcoin Magazine, and I have also contributed to a knowledge book for Masari back when they were still smaller, back in maybe 2019. They had a kind of community analyst group where they've asked volunteers to help write some glossary terms for different blockchain definitions and terminology. So I was able to build up my knowledge from doing that as well. And then, yeah, so at the moment with Ballet as a senior marketing manager, I am mostly in charge of a lot of different things since we are still a startup, social media, reaching out to different partners for collaborations and promotions, reaching out to different influencers and KOLs to help promote us and work with us, putting together different marketing campaigns and strategies, and also in charge of putting out some banging memes on our Twitter.
Eric, that's an interesting step to go from being interested in crypto to go straight to a hardware company. Most people would join like one of the like Coinbase or MetaMask, or there's so many tons of Web3 companies, smaller projects out there. How did you end up at Ballet?
Yeah, so I think for me, when I came across Ballet, I was already familiar with the CEO and founder of our company, Bobby Lee. Just a kind of quick little background on Bobby Lee. He has been in this space ever since the beginning, right? He is considered a Bitcoin OG. He was instrumental in co-founding one of the first Bitcoin exchanges in China that was called BTCC, or BTC China. And then his resume and his CV, even beforehand, was just everything that you want to see from a tech startup, right? A Stanford grad, has a master's in computer science, worked in a lot of different tech companies within their tech departments. His reputation was very high on my list from knowing him and from meeting him. And then so knowing about his company and learning about Ballet, I also had a very good impression of the company. Wallets in general, to me, I think are very fundamental for any crypto user getting into this space. And I think the good thing about wallets in general, is that it is a very unbiased project in this space. We're not exactly shilling any particular tokens. We don't have a token. We're not, I guess, shilling any type of niche tech that might be maybe, I guess, questionable to some people. It's very crypto agnostic. Wallets support many different types of cryptos and blockchains and tokens, and now with NFTs. So I think that attracted me the most about working for a wallet company is the fact that we get to be one, not only the first touch point for many crypto users, but also two, we get to be very unbiased about what to talk about and promote besides the Ballet wallet. So we can chat about other tokens and other technology that we're supporting on the wallet or even integrating within the wallet too.
Nice. That's very cool. And I really like that perspective of being coin agnostic, because you made a really good point that whenever you're watching YouTube or other media, you're listening to someone we might interview on the podcast and they'd be like, this is my project, this is my coin, this is what I believe in, etc. But it's nice having a guest who is sort of, you guys are outside of the spectrum in a sense, but you're still looking inwards. Okay, before we move on to the crux of today's interviews, I want to remind everyone anything Eric says or I say is not financial or legal advice. Please do your own research. These are just our opinions and not to be connected with our employers. That being said, you did mention the wallet, so we have to segue into that now. Everyone in the crypto space, and I apologize for this being the very first and most difficult question, is, okay, we know Trezor, we know Ledger, there might be some other smaller companies, but like, why haven't people heard about Ballet? And is this on purpose? You did mention you are a startup, right? So are you now jumping into this big marketing phase of, okay, we're going to start promoting this wallet. It is really cool. It's really interesting. It's really beautiful as well. Aesthetics do matter. Look at the iPhone. So tell us where you're coming from and what's the sort of forward-looking strategy for Ballet.
So I guess just to opine on the first part of the question that you posed there, I guess in terms of like our name and our branding, of course, when you compare it to like Ledger or Trezor or MetaMask, those are like the industry leaders. And that just comes down to basic market economic forces, right? They've been able to capitalize on first mover advantages. They have obviously great engineering behind their team. And they've been able to build a moat around their product, considering that they've been in the game for so long. And obviously with that, I guess, longevity and reputation already built upon them, they're obviously able to raise more funds. And then with funds comes a bigger marketing budget. The Ballet, we are still young compared to Ledger and Trezor. Ballet was started in 2019. So we've been in the game for about 4 years, which in the Web3 space, in the crypto space, is still pretty long. But compared to the powerhouses of Ledger, Trezor, MetaMask, we're still pretty young. A lot of our marketing approach at the moment is organic. We are very prudent and conservative with the way we spend our marketing budget. So we do a lot of organic kind of grassroots strategy for our marketing going forward. For example, I guess one component of this organic marketing is conducting workshops, right? Or conducting in-person sessions with people. Recently, in the past year, we've started a program where we've worked with different student groups on college campuses to see if they wanted to host a crypto wallet 101 kind of session or a blockchain 101 session, which has, at the moment, the outreach and the feedback has been great. We have been able to conduct a few different workshops on different campuses, interacting with the students, being able to teach them not only just why you should use the Ballet wallet, but also just why crypto and Bitcoin in general. So that goes back to the top of the conversation of what is money, right? Or why Bitcoin fits in our current financial system. It's been great. Those kind of organic outreach movements and workshops that we conduct, it's a great way to get young people educated in this space. And also with our Ballet wallet, which is a physical product, it allows them to hold something in their hand and feel something tangible when they're learning about something new, right? For young people, it's hard for them to fathom what this whole digital assets that's sitting in the ethos is, right? So having some kind of tangible product that you can put in their hands and tell them that this product right here, this crypto wallet, if it's in your hands, it's yours. Nobody else owns it. So that's one approach that's part of our organic marketing strategy that we have. But hey, going forward with longevity and with sustainability with our company, well, obviously we do hope to be able to work with bigger partners and bigger collaborations, and maybe one day just have a commercial on during the Super Bowl. But of course, that backfired for FTX. So
That is awesome, and I look forward to seeing that. And you held up that 0.005 BTC card, and I saw that as I checked out the website a few times, right? And so tell us about that. How does that work? And it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you're listening to the audio version, I would definitely suggest head over to the YouTube channel right now, check out the actual video and see, because that, head to the Ballet website and check that out because it's awesome. So I want to give this because I've heard about people gifting Bitcoin to their kids or grandkids or friends or something like, hey, try this crypto thing out. And here's 0.005 BTC, all right? So I go to the Ballet website, right, and I order that. How does that work?
yeah, so you go to the ballet.com website, you choose what kind of wallet that you want. You can also choose different denominations placed on the card itself. So the one I was holding up before, it was a Bitcoin wallet with the Bitcoin logo on the front. But of course, we have different variations just for people who want a different style on the card. So this one right here is a Litecoin wallet or a Litecoin card. Here's an Ethereum one. So yeah,
Nice.
it all depends on your preference as well. Of course, even though the face of the card might have a different logo on it, they all have the same functionality. So they're all multi-currency, right? You can support different crypto, different tokens, and also different NFTs. But yeah, once you're on the website, you can choose your preference as to what logo you want on the card. And you can also customize the card too. So if you have your own token project, you can work with us to put your own token logo on the card and use it as a great marketing ploy for engaging with your community. But yeah, you can make your purchase on the website. All you need to do is basically fill out your shipping information and then choose your payment methods, which we support cash, credit, debit, and crypto as well.
Nice. Very cool. So I make the purchase, right? And one of the things I was really confused about when I looked at this product was like, okay, I've got the card. How do I put that balance into my MetaMask, or how do I utilize that balance on the card?
Yeah, so I guess this is the ultimate question of how do I use the Ballet product? So like for the audience out there, with what 𝕋𝕚 mentioned in the beginning, Ballet, we design and we produce easy to use self-custody solutions, products. Essentially, the marquee product is what I was holding up before. This one is an Ethereum Real Series cold storage card. Essentially, Ballet, we produce physical, non-electronic cold storage solutions. So let's break that down. It's physical. So this one is made out of stainless steel. All of our cards are made out of stainless steel, which makes it very durable. It's waterproof. If you can just put it in your wallet as well. It's thin. Credit card form factor, very easy to carry. And then the other terminology that I was mentioning is the non-electronic component. So there is no electronic component to this. There's nowhere to plug into anything, or there's no screens. And there's a reason behind that, which I can go into later. But essentially, everything about this product, everything about what we design and produce is geared towards making the self-custody setup process seamless and simple. With these cards, there is no complicated electronic setup that you need to take. There's no shuffling of USB wires or finding a certain cable. There is no, I guess, requirement of entering a PIN code or a passcode, which then you need to write down as well. It's also seedless, so you don't need to also memorize or write down your 12 or 24 words, which in fact, once a wallet prompts you to write down your 24 mnemonic words onto a piece of paper, you're creating a paper wallet. And at the same time, with the backup, of course, you also need to be attention of where you put your backup. I think many people don't also realize that once you create a backup, you also increase the surface area for risk of your wallet. But yeah, the card, once you receive the card, there's already a public address on the front, the QR code. So you can actually go ahead and scan it and deposit crypto onto it. That QR code is also the way you would add this to our mobile Ballet Crypto app. We have a separate app that we use that you can use to manage your digital assets. And it has all the functionalities as any other full-fledged crypto wallet. So you can send, receive, buy, swap crypto, store NFTs. You can view your NFTs on the app. You can also use Wallet Connect and connect that with other DeFi applications on your desktop, for example. A cool feature of the app as well is that you can also perform air-gapped signing transactions. So yeah, our app has a lot of functionalities, which is the misconception about these wallets. Obviously, we do a lot of promotion on the card itself. So a lot of people don't realize that you can use a card with our app. And with the app, you can basically make the card alive. That's how you interface with the card. That's how you interface with your wallet and Web3.
Great. That makes a lot of sense. And I did manage to find the app on the website and look into it. I'm like, okay, cool. I like this. And then my next question has to be, okay, doesn't this make the app a vector of attack, right? That if somebody gains access to the app, they gain access to your crypto. Or am I wrong there?
So the app does not store your private keys at all. You can use the app in many different ways. One being that you can just use the app as a watch-only wallet. So you can, like I said before, you can scan the public address and then it'll bring up all the balances on your app, and then you can just use it as a watch-only wallet. You don't even need to input any of the private key components onto the app. And then I guess another feature that I mentioned before, which also helps with security of the wallet, is that we have an air-gapped signing functionality, right? And it supports a few different cryptos. But essentially, you can use our app with another phone that you don't use and that's not connected to the internet. And through QR codes, you can air-gap sign with the app and with the private key components so that when you input your private key components, it won't ever touch a device that's connected to the internet. But I guess simple answer to your question is the app essentially does not require you to input your private key components. And the cool thing about the wallet too is that everything about this card, including the address and the private key components, it's all open source. It's using BIP38, right? So you can essentially use this card, use this wallet with another wallet software if you want. You don't even have to use the Ballet Crypto app.
Very cool. And I like that, giving people the option to use other apps, but also saying, hey, the Ballet app is pretty cool. You should take advantage of it, which is always an awesome thing for any company to offer its users. So let's go back to the original question I asked, which is, okay, you're right now. Trezor and Ledger have been in the market for a long time. So what's your target market, right? Are you gonna, as you mentioned, like doing grassroots marketing, and eventually there's gonna be enough of a network effect so that people are like, hey, did you hear about the Ballet wallet? It's actually cool. You don't have to use a Trezor or Ledger. And it's something like, I have a Trezor, and that's the first hardware wallet I ever got, and it's cool. But like you mentioned all the things I hate about it. I hate connecting it to my PC because I have to find that stupid special cable. I hate inputting the passcode because it has the 9 digits on there, and then it doesn't correspond to the 9 digits on my keyboard because that's another security measure, which is wonderful. But man, as you get older, it's just, oh God, Chinese has a really good word, which I think English doesn't have, which is 麻烦, right? Which is like a bother. And I just like it a lot. And I remember I put out a tweet and Trezor was like, hey, no, this is not the case. We're not actually that complicated. I'm like, yes, you are. So going back to the original question, Eric, is your goal, like you mentioned, maybe jokingly, maybe a little bit serious. I think seriously, I would love to see you guys have an ad in the Super Bowl, but is the goal to eventually be the #1 wallet solution in the world?
From a business point of view, yes. I think from the more altruistic point of view, we want to be able to allow people to self-custody their own crypto from the start. So a lot of people still to this day use a centralized exchange to get their hands on their first crypto. But we all know the trepidations with using a centralized exchange. I think the past few years have been great examples of that. So the ultimate goal is to be able to provide users, anyone, newbies, experts, crypto natives, an easy, safe, and seamless way to self-custody their crypto. That is the end goal, of course. And full disclaimer, even though I work for Ballet, I'm also a huge fan of just other wallets too. I also have a Ledger. I think Ledgers are great. I played around with Cold Card, for example. And in general, I think I consider myself a crypto wallet connoisseur. Sure, I do love and I love to evangelize about simple self-custody solutions, but I'm also like a private key wallet geek. I love diving into like complex setups of your private key and securing it in very geeky manners. But back to our mission statement, self-custody at the moment is still very difficult. And there's a lot of options in the market that are trying to alleviate those pains. And I think we're seeing it in the past years with different technologies that are coming up. But historically, self custody has always been daunting for many users. Even for myself, I remember when I got into crypto, I felt a lot safer using Coinbase versus using a hardware wallet. But I think over time, for me, you start to really understand the importance of self custody. And then you start to even, there was one point when I was using my Coinbase where I've questioned myself, like, where exactly is the private key, right? You read all these kind of blogs about how the private key is the essential of your crypto life, right? But then when you're on your exchange, you're looking around and you're just like, okay, where is this long string of characters with random numbers and letters? Where is this private key? And I think that was almost like the aha moment for me where I realized that, okay, the exchange owns your keys. And we all know how precarious that can be going forwards if the exchange goes. And the need for me to learn about how a crypto wallet works, right? Not only just moving my keys and coins off an exchange, but also to be able to learn about how a crypto wallet works. And I think when you get to that point of understanding private key generation and public key generation and elliptic curve cryptography, how a wallet is storing your crypto and how a wallet is communicating with the blockchain, you get a better appreciation of different wallets that are out there, which can ultimately lead you to understanding the importance of wallet diversification. So just going back to the main point, self-custody, that is the end goal for us. Teaching people that self-custody is essentially the strong principle of why Bitcoin is here. You want to be able to have control over your assets. But of course, if it's through the Ballet wallet, if the Ballet wallet is there to achieve that goal, sure. If it's through another different wallet, then sure as well, right? But as long as we're able to pull in the market and educate the market as to that there are these safer solutions out there and they don't need to be that difficult.
Nice. All right, one last ballet focused question. And this is something I found like during COVID and even after COVID. There are certain companies, like I used to buy my favorite t-shirt company was from Ireland, and whenever I tried to order them after COVID and it never arrived in Taiwan, or would take 6 months, where pre-COVID would take like a month. So to people around the world, how does shipping work? So once I place my order, are you shipping via DHL? And because like sometimes I've ordered stuff from different places and it just takes a long time or doesn't arrive at all. And not even just here, like even I used to live in Ireland before, we had similar issues.
So I could probably give a very general answer to that. From my understanding and from my interactions with our e-commerce logistics team, we use different carriers based on the pricing of that location. So we have used DHL, we have used UPS, for example, but international shipping has always, like, we've been doing it since day one. So we don't really have, like, we're experienced in that realm as of right now. We understand international shipping. We do ship out to Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, the Middle East, even Africa sometimes, South America. So a lot of our market right now is actually very global. Our top market is, of course, the US, but we do have experience shipping out products to all over the world. So hopefully that answers your question.
It does. And that's something like I've struggled with personally, and it always bothers me. Like when I'm trying something new or I'm buying something, I'm like, oh my God, are you actually going to arrive in town? Or I'm going to have to go through the process of emailing and say, hey, your product didn't arrive. Oh, we'll check on it, sir. And then it's just, no, I don't want to deal with that. So that's definitely a comforting thought. And especially, I know we have quite a varied audience across the world. So that's always important for us to know. Go ahead.
Just one more thing, which might be a little bit cliche. Of course, you can always, if you do run into a shipping issue, you can always contact support@ballet.com or even join our Telegram group. I would say our response time is pretty quick. So
that's always very helpful. And thank you for sharing that. Zooming out, Eric, You're in Shanghai, right? And everyone knows that crypto is, well, now live and fighting in Hong Kong. I still believe it's not allowed in the mainland. And how does that play out with Ballet? Because I know like in Shanghai, from everyone I've spoke to here, is yeah, you guys have awesome like automated payment systems. You do everything from your phone. You don't need to do anything. Like you don't have to leave your house, right? Everything can be done on your phone, from massages to food to cleaning, everything else. Is that a potential market in the future where you're like, okay, I'm paying for my food, I'm going to scan my Ballet wallet and that's going to take out some USDC and that's going to pay somebody? Or is sort of China not in the scope of potential markets in the future?
So I guess from a business point of view, right, we've actually stopped all of our e-commerce operations in the mainland due to the, I guess, to be more sensitive to the regulations here. But in the past, when we did have our normal e-commerce operations up and going, China was like our second or third biggest market, because obviously there's a lot of crypto people here, right? A lot of people still Web3. I think back in maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago, Shanghai was the crypto epicenter for a little bit. So there's still a lot of crypto energy here in Shanghai. But of course, the regulations have hampered that down, basically pushing out a lot of crypto projects to move their operations outside of China. We also have reacted to that. Like I said before, we've stopped our e-commerce operations here. So a lot of our focus right now is in outside of China, but still within Asia and within the US. In terms of using the Ballet wallet or any other wallet for crypto payments here, that is still illegal. You cannot use any other forms of payment or any other forms of currency for payment. So there's times where I've wished I can pay with my cool new token for a cup of coffee here. But no, yeah, like you said before, a lot of the things here, payments is still just operated through WeChat Pay or Alipay, and that works out fine too. But yeah, in terms of the business point of view, yeah, no payments are allowed. So basically, no one really needs to hold around the Ballet wallet here in China.
Got it. You've been there for a while, right? And do you see the tides turning at any point? Again, I'm gonna remind everyone, you're not a lawyer. You're just somebody living in Shanghai and you don't represent Ballet Wallet when you're speaking on this podcast anyway, in a sense. So do you see the tides turning in China at some point where they're like, okay, we're going to allow crypto? Like I remember they were testing like a CBDC, like an e-yuan at some point. Do you see that happening in the future?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like it's always a roller coaster here. For one day you'll hear some news that the government's hampering down and coming down hard on some crypto projects. Another day, like you said before, yeah, the government is working on some government blockchain and coming out with their own CBDC or whatever. And then actually recently, the past week, I was speaking to a friend here and they said that even some local brands here are coming out with their own NFT for marketing engagement. So it's just, okay, wait a minute. There's definitely a gray area. There's definitely moments where there is a real kind of like low sentiment as to crypto here. But at the same time, there's moments where you see some glimmer of hope, right? I still think it's in a gray area, and it's all about the way you kind of market and expose whatever project that you're working on. People have told me that if you're going to come out with a token here, don't call it a token, right? Call it like loyalty points or something, right? Or membership points, right? So it's little semantics like this that might still be allowed here in China. But of course, any day, the government can come down and say that, oh, your loyalty points on this blockchain is illegal and not allowed. Get out of here. So it's it varies across the board, and it's, I guess, not always 100% enforced. So there is, I guess the simple answer is it depends, and there is still a gray area.
So I guess if I could summarize, right, probably for Ballet, for other companies, if they are still in China, it's okay, the focus at the moment is build outside of China. And then at some point, if there is a concrete future, you will like cycle back and say, okay, now how do we build this thing again?
Correct. And even for us too, like I mentioned before, we focused our e-commerce outside of China, and we have been putting more of a focus on building up our presence in the US. So building our team there and expanding the manpower outside of China. So I guess right now we're still safe here because we don't touch tokens, right? We don't touch any crypto. Essentially, all we produce is a device for you to do whatever you want with it. You can almost
Right.
say it's akin to selling a computer, right? You can sell computers here. Whatever the user wants to do with it, it's up to them.
Let's keep talking about wallets, right? So one of the cool things I think is I'm looking at Trezor, looking at Ledger, and they haven't really innovated in the wallet space in a way that I would call significant. Especially these days with AI tech and AI being in everything, even forget AI. Looking at wallets, looking at hardware solutions. Does Ballet have a plan for innovation in terms of what you guys are doing, or maybe beyond a software wallet, or I guess beyond a non-digital wallet? Will you guys have a digital wallet in the future and have some cool features there? And again, you don't have to spill the secret sauce. You can walk around it, or you say, okay, great, I can't answer that. That's also cool as well. What are some things you're looking forward to in terms of innovations from Ballet, or maybe just generally in the space in the future?
Yeah, so good question. In terms of Ballet, no, we do not have any plans for any electronic components or any types of electronic hardware. Our founder and CEO has made that pretty clear to us. This product that we've already created it's not 100% bulletproof, but it's a surefire way to have that seamless onboard experience for users. I guess to add on to that, if you don't know who Bobby Lee is, at the moment he's very risk averse. So he's also been pulled into creating a token for Ballet or creating a hot wallet for Ballet. These are all fun things to do if you're trying to catch the trend in Web3. But he's been very steadfast in his belief that this solution right here is a very safe and secure manner for newbies or users or experts to have that solution to cold storage their crypto in a very easy and safe method. In terms of new things that were coming out, I can say that over the past year, we have come out with a new service in the US, which allows you to purchase our wallets with Bitcoin already loaded on it. So the cool thing about this is that essentially a user can buy Bitcoin and have it on a self-custody card right at the start, right? They don't even need to touch any centralized exchanges. So this kind of alleviates that pain point of using an exchange, and then with that, many users just leaving their keys on the exchange. So with this service, essentially, we've given them the full onboard experience. You can buy Bitcoin with us, and then you can also own your own private keys on our self-custody cards. So the feedback has been pretty good with that. For that, we had to register for a certain license in the US, but hopefully we can see that paying off in the future. Perhaps in the next bull run, a lot of users can do away with exchanges and just perhaps use our service if they want to purchase Bitcoin. And we are also adding a lot of different functionality within the app too, right? Like I said before, over the past year, we have come out with an air gap signing solution, and we've been able to essentially build out our NFT platform on the app as well. So before, the app only supported certain mainstream NFT collections, but now using certain APIs, it can show you any NFT that you own on your wallet, right? A lot of our improvements at the moment is evolving around our main product that we have, right? That's been our bread and butter, right? Which is these cold storage cards. So a lot of our innovations and a lot of our kind of new ideas is to how we can build around that product and give more exposure to our main core mission, which is to make self-custody seamless and safe. And that's another reason why a lot of our organic kind of marketing movements is something that we want to continue to pursue, because education is a big component of this space. And I think education for us is not only a great way to build our brand, but also just to educate people that, hey, you don't need to use certain platforms to get into crypto, right? It can be easier with the Ballet wallet.
Nice. And I agree with you there. Eric, this has been a wonderful discussion, and I'm so glad you were the first hardware guest we've ever had in 170 episodes, which is awesome. So many interesting things, and I could keep going on forever. It is going to be lunchtime here pretty soon, so I don't want to keep you too long. And also, I've been told that I got to stick within the 30 to 40 minute limit in terms of episodes. So before we end off today's show, we've talked a lot about Ballet. We've talked a lot about crypto and storage and solutions and education, but I always like to give guests a chance to end off however they want to end off. Is there anything that they want to mention about the company or crypto or whatever? The floor is yours. Final words for today.
Yeah, sure. So I guess this will be my mic drop moment, huh? But no, I think the main takeaway that I want people to understand about Ballet is that sometimes we do get a lot of critics that have knee-jerk reactions or knee-jerk accusations as to our wallets being inferior to other wallets. But I think if users take the time to understand not only the mission that we have as a company, but also our design principles as to why the product is the way it is, then they can have a fully appreciation about why the wallet works in the way it's designed for, right? Once you understand our design principles, then you can understand why the Ballet wallet is made the way it is. And it's not to say that other wallets are maybe worse off than us, or it's not to say that the Ballet wallet is less secure or more complicated or not as wallet friendly as other wallets. Every wallet has their advantages and disadvantages. There's trade-offs in the whole spectrum of wallets. There's trade-offs on every level. The more seemingly secure it is, the less user-friendly it is. And the more user-friendly it is, the more abstraction and the more layers of trust the user needs to have with the wallet, right? But of course, you shouldn't only be siloed into using one wallet. I mentioned before, you should be wallet agnostic or just have a strong wallet diversification strategy that you can rely on and trust on, right? Whatever works for you should be what you should use. Don't be attracted to these, seemingly secure but complex setups because it might not work for you. I think a few months ago, I wrote an article titled Wallet Agnostic, How to Be Wallet Agnostic. And in that article near the end, which I want to end here with, is that self-custody is like self-defense. Right? You can buy all the fancy gadgets, buy all the fancy self-defense weapons that you want to. But in the time of need, if you don't know how to use it properly, and if you don't know how to use it when the time comes, it's utterly useless. So the main point of that is to use what you're most comfortable with.
Nice. And I really want to echo that as well. I love the idea of being wallet agnostic, even though I'm not. But after listening to you and talking to you today, that's one of the things I want to do is, and again, I've learned that as well. It's the same principle of don't keep your crypto in one like MetaMask or have multiple MetaMask, have multiple different kinds of wallets, and that should exist in the real world as well, right? You could have your Ledger, your Trezor, and your Ballet wallet as well, because you never know what's going to happen, right? You never know what's going to fail. You never know something could affect the electronics in a wallet, or something could happen to your Ballet wallet, right? It's good to have a solution for every sort of situation, and I totally agree with you. Eric, you are really interesting, and in terms of social media, right? Of course, Ballet Wallet's going to be in the podcast show notes. It's going to be on the YouTube channel as well. But for people who do want to follow you, I know you're on LinkedIn as well. Are you on Twitter or any other social media for people to watch and listen to you?
Yeah, so for my Twitter handle is at ECBCBSJ, so they can follow me there. And a lot of my content on my Twitter is actually about wallets, not only about the Ballet wallet, but just wallets in general. So I've become, since working at Ballet and since being in the space, I've become like a wallet connoisseur, right? I just love learning and testing out new wallet setups. So that's been my niche.
Very cool. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna go check that out afterwards and then make sure to follow. Eric, thank you so much for your time. It has been awesome. I hope at some point in the future, maybe next year sometime, I can head over there. You can come to Taiwan and we can do an episode live, perhaps, and say, hey, how's things going at Ballet? Or what's going on in the hardware wallet space? And have a recap episode. You could be my awesome hardware wallet expert guest, which I don't have one, and you could be the first one. So I look forward to a catch up next year at some point. And thank you again for your time, and talk to you soon.
Cool. Thanks again. Have a good one.